the impossible species. The Council's routine, High Councillor Threnak stretched his massive reptilian form across the ceremonial chair that had been carved from a single piece of starstone 50,000 years ago. His ancient eyes, which had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, gazed warily at the holographic display floating before him. Another new species had achieved interstellar travel. Another primitive race was requesting an audience with the Galactic Council. The massive chamber of Station Harmony buzzed with the usual pre-session chatter. Representatives from 237 different worlds moved through the vast space, their various forms creating a tapestry of galactic diversity. Some floated through the air on gossamer wings, others crawled along the walls with dozens of legs, and a few existed as pure energy contained within crystalline matrices. Ambassador Veltha, whose crystalline body refracted light into beautiful rainbow patterns, approached Threnak's platform. Her voice resonated through harmonic frequencies that translated into the common tongue. Another evaluation session, High Councillor. The species calls themselves humans. They claim to have achieved faster-than-light travel. Threnak scaled, lips curled into what might have been a smile. Of course they have. They all make such claims. How long did their development take? The usual timeline. Veltha's crystal form shimmered as she accessed the data. The preliminary reports are ... unusual. They claim to have developed from primitive technology to interstellar travel in approximately 200 of their years. The ancient reptilian's eyes narrowed. 200 years. That's impossible. Even the fastest developing species in our records took 20,000 years. The Zephyrians hold the current record at 18,000 years, and they were considered miraculous. Scoutmaster Zixilon, whose insectoid form clicked and chittered as he moved, joined the conversation. His compound eyes glittered with amusement. Perhaps they miscalculated their own timeline. New species often exaggerate their achievements. Remember the Corthon incident. They claimed to have developed warp drive in 5,000 years, but it turned out they were counting only their written history, not their actual technological development. Threnak nodded sagely. Exactly, this species will be no different. They'll arrive in some barely functional craft, present primitive technology, and request membership in our community. We'll evaluate them, assign them to a development category, and revisit their application in a few thousand years. The chamber's communication system hummed to life. High Councillor, the human delegation has arrived at Docking Bay 7. They request permission to present themselves to the Council. Grant them entry, Threnak commanded. Let us see what these humans have to offer. The unexpected arrival, the docking bay of Station Harmony, was designed to accommodate vessels from hundreds of different species. When the human ship arrived, the dock workers expected to see the usual signs of a newly spacefaring race: crude hull construction, basic propulsion systems, and the distinctive marks of a species still learning to navigate the stars. Instead, they found themselves staring at a vessel that defied their expectations. The ship was sleek and elegant, with lines that suggested both artistic sensibility and advanced engineering. Its hull seemed to shimmer with an energy field that none of the dock workers recognized. Most surprising of all, it showed no signs of the typical wear and tear that came from long interstellar journeys. Commander Sarah Chen stepped out of the airlock with the confidence of someone who had commanded starships for decades. Her uniform was crisp and professional, bearing insignia that spoke of military precision. Behind her came Dr. Marcus Webb, a tall man with kind eyes and an expression of barely contained excitement. The third member of their delegation, Engineer Rosa Martinez carried herself with the practical bearing of someone who could fix anything that might break. The dock supervisor, a slug-like being named Glorth, approached them with the standard greeting protocols. "Welcome to Station Harmony. I am Dock Supervisor Glorth. Your vessel will be secured and maintained according to standard procedures." Sarah smiled and nodded. "Thank you, Supervisor Glorth. We appreciate your hospitality." "I'm Commander Sarah Chen, representing the United Earth Federation. This is Dr. Marcus Webb, our xenobiologist, and engineer Rosa Martinez, our technical specialist." Glorth's eye stalks swiveled as he examined their ship more closely. "Forgive my curiosity, but your vessel's design is ... unusual. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. What propulsion system do you use?" Rosa stepped forward, her enthusiasm evident. "We use a hybrid system combining antimatter propulsion with spatial compression fields. It's a recent development that allows us to achieve speeds of approximately 50 times light speed while maintaining structural integrity." Glorth's slug-like form froze. 50 times light speed was faster than most Council member species could achieve, even with their most advanced vessels. 50 times. Are you certain of that measurement? Absolutely, Rosa confirmed. We made the journey from Earth to your station in just over 3 weeks. Earth is approximately 42 light-years from here. The dock supervisor's translator struggled to process this information. If the humans were telling the truth, they had traveled at speeds that should have required millions of years of technological development. "I must report this to the Council immediately. Please follow me to the preparation chambers." The Council's first shock. The preparation chambers were designed to help new species adjust to the atmosphere and gravity of Station Harmony. Most newly spacefaring races required significant environmental modifications to survive in the station's standardized conditions. The humans, however, seemed perfectly comfortable. Dr. Webb gazed around the chamber with obvious fascination. "This is incredible. The atmospheric composition is almost identical to Earth's. The gravity feels just right. Did you design this specifically for us?" The preparation chamber attendant, a floating jellyfish-like being named Quivix, pulsed with confusion. "No, honored guest. These are the standard conditions that most species require after evolutionary adaptation. It typically takes new species several generations to develop the physiological changes necessary to survive in standardized galactic environments." Sarah exchanged glances with her colleagues. "We haven't made any adaptations. This environment is naturally comfortable for us." Quivex's translucent form shimmered with alarm. "That should not be possible. Environmental compatibility is one of the final stages of species development. It requires advanced genetic modification or millions of years of guided evolution." Marcus leaned forward, his scientific curiosity piqued. "How do other species handle environmental differences during their development period?" "They remain in specialized habitats for thousands of years while their bodies slowly adapt," Quivix explained. "The process is overseen by Council medical specialists and typically takes between 5,000 and 10,000 years to complete." The 3 humans looked at each other in amazement. Rosa shook her head slowly. "We've been living and working in various space environments for decades without any modifications. Our bodies seem to adapt naturally within a few days or weeks." Quivix's form began to pulse rapidly, a sign of extreme distress. "This information must be reported to the Council immediately. Please prepare yourselves for presentation. I fear your evaluation may be ... unprecedented. The grand presentation, the council chamber, was a marvel of galactic architecture. The domed ceiling displayed real-time images of the surrounding star field, while the walls were covered with artistic representations from every member species. The chamber could accommodate representatives from hundreds of worlds, each in their preferred environmental conditions. High Counselor Threnak sat in the center of the chamber, his massive form radiating authority. Around him, the representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations waited to witness another routine evaluation. The atmosphere was casual, almost bored. They had seen this ceremony countless times. Ambassador Veltha approached the council platform. High Counselor, the human delegation has arrived. They are prepared for presentation. Bring them forward, Threnak commanded. Let us see what Earth has to offer. The three humans entered the chamber with quiet dignity. Sarah led the way, her military bearing evident in every step. Marcus followed, his eyes wide with wonder as he took in the incredible diversity of species around them. Rosa brought up the rear, her engineering mind already analyzing the technology that surrounded them. The chamber fell silent as the representatives studied the newcomers. Humans were bipedal, which was common enough, but their proportions and movements suggested a species that had evolved under conditions remarkably similar to the galactic standard. Threnak's voice boomed across the chamber. Welcome, beings of Earth. I am High Counselor Threnak. In the name of the Galactic Council, I greet you and invite you to present your species for evaluation. Sarah stepped forward and bowed respectfully. High Counselor, honored representatives, we are deeply grateful for this opportunity. I am Commander Sarah Chen, representing the United Earth Federation. We come before you as a young species, eager to learn and contribute to the galactic community. The ritual phrases were familiar to everyone present. New species always began with expressions of humility and gratitude. Threnak nodded approvingly. Tell us of your journey to the stars, Commander Chen. How long has your species been developing the technologies necessary for interstellar travel? Marcus stepped forward, his excitement barely contained. High Counselor, our species first achieved powered flight approximately 250 years ago. We reached our moon 180 years ago, and we developed faster-than-light travel just 40 years ago. The chamber erupted in sounds of disbelief. Representatives from across the galaxy began chattering in their native languages. The mathematical impossibility of what they had just heard was staggering. Scout, Master Zixalon's compound eyes focused intently on the humans. Did you say 40 years? From no space travel to interstellar capability in 40 years. Actually, Rosa interjected, we first left our home system only 35 years ago. The faster-than-light drive was developed 5 years before our first interstellar mission. Ambassador Velthar's crystalline form began to pulse with rapid, agitated patterns. This cannot be accurate. The mathematical progression of technological development follows universal laws. No species has ever achieved such rapid advancement. Sarah looked puzzled. I'm sorry, but what mathematical laws are you referring to? Our development has been pretty steady, with some accelerations during periods of crisis or competition. Threnak leaned forward, his ancient eyes studying the humans with new intensity. Commander Chen, you speak of crisis and competition. Are you saying your species developed interstellar travel during wartime? Not exactly during wartime, Sarah replied carefully. But our history includes many periods of conflict, that drove technological innovation. Competition between nations, the need to solve resource problems, the drive to explore and expand our horizons. The chamber fell completely silent. The concept of developing advanced technology through conflict was almost incomprehensible to most council species. Galactic civilization had been built on cooperation, careful planning, and gradual development. Over thousands of years, Dr. Webb, sensing the confusion, stepped forward. Perhaps I should explain our approach to scientific development. On Earth, we have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When we face challenges, we innovate rapidly to overcome them. But surely, Ambassador Velthar said, her harmonic voice reflecting confusion, you must have had guidance from an elder species. Someone must have provided you with the fundamental principles of faster-than-light travel. Rosa shook her head. No, we developed everything ourselves. We started with theoretical physics, moved through experimental phases, and eventually built working prototypes. The whole process took about 12 years, from concept to successful implementation. The chamber erupted again, this time with sounds of alarm and amazement. 12 years to develop faster-than-light travel was not just unprecedented, was theoretically impossible, according to everything the Galactic Council knew about technological development. High Counselor Thrunak stood. Slowly, his massive form casting shadows across the chamber. Humans of Earth, what you describe challenges our understanding of how civilizations develop. Are you certain of your timeline? Absolutely certain, Sarah confirmed. We have detailed records of our entire technological development. Would you like us to share them? The ancient reptilian's eyes narrowed. Yes, I believe we would. Asterisk when humans prove the impossible, the demonstration. The Council's evaluation chamber was filled with the galaxy's most advanced technological assessment. Equipment. Devices that could analyze the molecular structure of materials, measure energy outputs down to the quantum level, and simulate complex technological processes, hummed with activity around the human delegation. Chief Technology Assessor, a being whose body was composed entirely of living circuits and data streams, approached the humans with evident skepticism. His electronic voice crackled with authority. The Council requires proof of your claims. Your stated development timeline is mathematically impossible according to all known laws of technological progression. Rosa stepped forward, her engineers. Confidence evident. We'd be happy to demonstrate our capabilities. What would you like to see first? More than a circuits flashed with what might have been amusement. Let us begin with something simple. Please explain how your species developed faster-than-light communication before achieving interstellar travel. Actually, Marcus interjected, we didn't develop faster-than-light communication before space travel. We developed them simultaneously, as part of the same research program. The chamber fell silent. Ambassador Velthor's crystalline form dimmed as she processed this information. That is impossible. Faster-than-light communication requires mastery of subspace manipulation, which is a prerequisite for interstellar travel. No species develops both simultaneously. Sarah smiled. On Earth, we have a different approach. We call it parallel development. Instead of mastering one technology completely before moving to the next, we work on multiple related technologies at the same time. It's more efficient. Scoutmaster Zixalon's compound eyes glittered with interest. Demonstrate this parallel development. Show us how you achieve multiple technological breakthroughs simultaneously. Rosa approached one of the assessment devices, a complex machine designed to analyze technological principles. This device measures energy patterns, correct? May I examine it? Morthan's circuits pulsed with permission. You may observe, but please do not interfere with its operation. Rosa spent several minutes studying the device, her eyes taking in every detail. Then she turned to her colleagues. Marcus, remember the quantum resonance problem we solved on the journey here? The same principle applies to this device. Marcus nodded, understanding immediately. The frequency harmonics are causing interference in the measurement matrix. Exactly, Rosa confirmed. She made a small adjustment to the device's settings. If we modify the resonance frequency by approximately 12% and adjust the harmonic dampeners, we should get much clearer readings. The device immediately began producing measurements that were 30% more accurate than before. The improvement was visible on displays throughout the chamber. Morthan's circuits flashed rapidly with what could only be described as shock. How did you identify and correct a problem that has plagued our technicians for decades in less than 5 minutes? We looked at it with fresh eyes, Sarah explained. Sometimes an outside perspective can see solutions that aren't obvious to those who work with a system every day. Chief Technology Assessor Morthan's form began to pulse with agitation. This is unprecedented. You have just improved technology that represents millions of years of development by hundreds of different species. Dr. Webb stepped forward, his excitement growing. If you don't mind me asking, how do other species approach technological development? Your timeline seems much slower than ours. Ambassador Veltha's harmonic voice filled the chamber. The standard approach is careful, methodical progression. A species typically spends 5,000 to 10,000 years mastering each fundamental technology before moving to the next level. This ensures stability and prevents dangerous mistakes. But doesn't that approach limit innovation? Rosa asked. What? If there's a faster or better way to solve a problem? High Counselor Threnak, who had been observing silently, finally spoke. Commander Chen, your species seems to approach technology with an attitude that we find ... unusual. Can you explain this philosophical difference? Sarah considered her words carefully. High Counselor, humans have a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we also have another saying, there's always a better way. We're constantly looking for improvements, even in things that already work well. Scoutmaster Zixalon's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. This suggests your species has an inherent drive toward optimization and efficiency. Most species are content with functional solutions. That's probably accurate, Marcus agreed. We're never really satisfied with good enough. We always want to make things better, faster, or more efficient. The crisis test asterisk. The evaluation was interrupted by urgent alarms throughout Station Harmony. Emergency lights bathed the chamber in red, and automated systems began broadcasting warnings in dozens of languages. High Counselor Threnak, as massive form tensed with concern, emergency protocols are in effect. All non-essential personnel must report to safety stations immediately. Chief Engineer Vexter, a multi-armed being with metallic skin, rushed into the chamber. High Counselor, we have a critical situation. The station's primary fusion reactor is experiencing cascade failures. The automated systems cannot compensate, and our engineering teams cannot reach the reactor core due to radiation levels. The ancient reptilian's eyes widened with alarm. How long until complete failure? Approximately 37 minutes, Vextar replied. After that, the station will lose all power and life support. We are preparing evacuation procedures. Rosa stepped forward without hesitation. What exactly is happening with the reactor? Vextar's multiple arms gestured frantically. The magnetic containment fields are destabilizing. The fusion reaction is becoming increasingly unstable. Our engineers have been working on this problem for decades, but the solutions require technology we have not yet developed. Can you show me the technical specifications? Rosa asked. Commander Chen placed a hand on her engineer's shoulder. Rosa, we can't interfere with their internal systems. It could be considered an act of aggression. High Counselor Thrinak's voice boomed across the chamber. Commander Chen, if your engineer has knowledge that could help, we welcome her assistance. The safety of millions takes precedence over protocol. Rosa was already studying the technical readouts on her portable device. The problem is elegant. In its simplicity, your magnetic containment system is fighting against the natural resonance of the fusion reaction instead of working with it. Vextar's metallic features reflected confusion. Working with it, the fusion reaction is chaotic. It must be contained through overwhelming magnetic force. Not necessarily, Rosa replied, her mind racing through the problem. Marcus, remember the wave harmonics we studied during our approach to the station? The same principle applies here. Dr. Webb nodded enthusiastically. Instead of suppressing the natural oscillations, we need to create a resonance pattern that channels them constructively. Rosa was already making calculations. If we adjust the magnetic field generators to create a harmonic resonance pattern that matches the fusion reaction's natural frequency, we can actually use the reaction's own energy to strengthen the containment field. Chief Engineer Vextar S. Multiple eyes focused intently on the human engineer. That approach has never been attempted. The risk of catastrophic failure is enormous. The risk of doing nothing is guaranteed catastrophic failure, Sarah pointed out. Rosa, are you confident in your solution? Rosa nodded firmly. The physics are sound. The approach is unconventional, but it should work. High Counselor Thrinak made the decision. Proceed with the human solution. Chief Engineer Vextar, provide full assistance. The miracle solution, the station's central engineering section, was a marvel of galactic technology. Massive fusion reactors provided power for millions of inhabitants, while sophisticated systems maintained perfect environmental conditions throughout the station's vast interior. Now, that same technology was failing catastrophically. Rosa worked with focused intensity, her hands moving rapidly over control interfaces designed for beings with completely different physiologies. Somehow, she adapted to the alien technology, as if she had been working with it for years. The harmonic frequency needs to be adjusted to match the reactor's natural resonance. She explained to the assembled engineering team, instead of fighting the fusion reaction, we're going to dance with it. Chief Engineer Vextar S. multiple arms worked frantically to implement Rosa's modifications. The magnetic field generators are responding to the new frequency patterns. I am seeing stabilization in sectors 7 through 15. Dr. Webb monitored the reaction from a secondary console. The fusion reaction is actually becoming more efficient. The energy output is increasing while the instability is decreasing. Rosa smiled with satisfaction. That's the beauty of working with natural forces instead of against them. The reaction wants to be stable. We just needed to give it the right conditions. The emergency alarms gradually fell silent as the reactor returned to normal operation. Throughout the station, lights that had dimmed during the crisis returned to full brightness. The immediate danger was over. High Counselor Threnak arrived in the engineering section, his massive form radiating amazement. Engineer Martinez, in less than 1 hour, You have solved a problem that has plagued our engineers for decades. How is this possible? Rosa looked, genuinely confused by the question. I just approached it differently. Sometimes the best solution is the one that works with the system instead of against it. Chief Engineer Vextar's metallic voice carried a note of wonder. The modifications you have made will increase our reactor efficiency by approximately 40%. This represents a quantum leap in our energy technology. It's really just basic harmonic resonance, Rosa explained. The same principles apply to musical instruments, bridge construction, and apparently fusion reactors. Ambassador Velthor's crystalline form pulsed with rapid, excited patterns. Commander Chen, your species continues to demonstrate capabilities that should not be possible given your stated development timeline. Sarah looked around at the assembled alien engineers, all of whom were staring at her team with expressions of amazement and confusion. I'm beginning to understand that humans might approach problems differently than most species. The galactic paradigm shift back in the council chamber, the full assembly had gathered to witness an unprecedented event. Never in the history of the Galactic Council had a new species demonstrated such advanced capabilities during their first evaluation. High Counselor Threnak addressed the assembly with gravity that matched the moment. Representatives of the galaxy, we have witnessed something that challenges our fundamental understanding of technological development. The humans have demonstrated capabilities that should require millions of years to develop. Scoutmaster Zixalan's compound eyes glittered with excitement. High Counselor, I submit that we are not merely witnessing advanced technology. We are witnessing a completely different approach to problem-solving and innovation. Ambassador Velthar's harmonic voice filled the chamber. The humans have shown us that parallel development, rapid adaptation, and unconventional solutions can achieve results that our traditional methods cannot match. Dr. Webb stepped forward, his voice carrying the enthusiasm of a scientist making a great discovery. Honored representatives, if I may offer an observation, our species may have developed differently because we faced different challenges. Earth is a world of constant change, competition, and crisis. We learn to adapt quickly or face extinction. Chief Technology Assessor Morthan Circuits flashed with understanding. This explains the rapid development timeline. Species that face constant challenges develop enhanced problem-solving capabilities as a survival mechanism. Rosa nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. We didn't have the luxury of spending thousands of years perfecting one technology before moving to the next. We had to develop multiple solutions simultaneously and integrate them quickly. High Counselor Threnak stood slowly, his ancient form radiating a mixture of awe and concern. Humans of Earth, your species represents something unprecedented in galactic history. You have achieved in centuries what typically requires millennia. You solve problems that have challenged our greatest minds for generations. The chamber fell silent as the full implications of this statement sank in. Commander Chen felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. High Counselor, Sarah said carefully, we come before you not as conquerors or competitors, but as partners. Our rapid development has taught us the value of cooperation and shared knowledge. We want to contribute to the galactic community, not disrupt it. Scoutmaster Zixalan's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. But disruption may be inevitable. Your presence here changes everything. If other species learn that rapid development is possible, it could transform galactic civilization. Ambassador Velthor's crystalline form pulsed with rapid, agitated patterns. The implications are staggering. If human methods can be adapted by other species, we could see technological advancement accelerate across the galaxy. High Counselor Threnak's eyes narrowed as he considered the possibilities. Commander Chen, your species has presented us with a fundamental choice. We can continue our traditional approach to development, or we can embrace the rapid innovation that you represent. Marcus stepped forward, his voice carrying the excitement of scientific discovery. High Counselor, why must it be an either-or choice? Perhaps there's value in both approaches. Traditional methods provide stability and thoroughness. Human methods provide speed and innovation. Together, they might achieve more than either could alone. The ancient reptilian's expression shifted to something that might have been a smile. Dr. Webb, you have just described the essence of galactic cooperation. Different species contributing their unique strengths to solve common challenges. Chief Engineer Vextar entered the chamber, his multiple arms carrying data tablets. High Counselor, I have completed the analysis of the reactor modifications. The human solution has not only solved our immediate problem, but has opened new possibilities for energy generation that we never considered. Rosa looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives. That's what happens when you bring together different perspectives. Solutions emerge that none of us could have found alone. High Counselor Threnak's voice filled the chamber with formal authority. By the power vested in me by the Galactic Council, I hereby declare the human species not merely eligible for membership, but essential to our community's future. Commander Chen, Dr. Webb, Engineer Martinez, welcome to the galactic family. The chamber erupted in sounds of approval from hundreds of different species. As the celebration continued, Sarah Chen realized that humanity had not just joined the galactic community. They had begun to transform it. The galaxy would never be the same, and that, she thought, with a smile, was exactly what the universe needed. Asterisk.